my son hasn't learnt this ayat by now. You know, how far do we go for our children's inner soul? And that is the key thing, the inner soul and our heart. The Yazid of today will not be able to stop us. Yazid of tomorrow may try 1,000 times to crush it, but these martyrs and majlises will still take place. Allah Himself has promised to keep the name of Imam Hussein alive until the Day of Judgment. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now let's focus on the minds of Karbala. The days and nights of Muharram unfold on the land of Karbala. The night of the 9th night has come to Karbala, and it was a very tragic night. Nobody slept on this night. The men spent the whole night praying, reciting du'as, and looking at the Holy Quran. The mothers of Karbala were preparing their children. The next day was the day of the Battle of Karbala. What were the mothers of Karbala telling their children? Not to run away, not to hide, not to think of an excuse to be in the war. No, they were telling their children to be part and sacrifice their lives for Karbala. Now why did they do this? Because they knew Imam Hussein was on the right path. They were on Imam Hussein's team. They were prepared to sacrifice to save Islam, because Allah would be pleased with them. Now let us listen to the mothers of Karbala, and let's listen to what they were saying. Layla is with her son, Ali Akbar. My dear son, tomorrow is the day of the battle. My son, remember your life is not more important than the life of your father. Your father's life will be in danger tomorrow. My darling, do not hesitate in giving your life to protect your father's life. I move on to the other 10. Rubab is with her baby Ali Asghar. My Asghar, I wish you were a young man. I would have sacrificed your life to save your father's life. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Farwa is with her son Qasim. Qasim, my dear son, if your father was alive today, he would have sacrificed his life first. My dear, don't embarrass me in front of your father on the Day of Judgment. Oh Qasim, do not hesitate in sacrificing your life to protect your uncle's life. Our Imam's sister was sitting alone, weeping, and her brother Abbas came to her and said, "Why are you crying?" "My sister, why are you crying? What is wrong?" "Abbas, my brother, tomorrow is the day of sacrifice and I have no children to sacrifice." "My sister, don't worry. Abbas is alive today. Tomorrow I will sacrifice my life and it will be a gift from me to you." Bibi Zainab is with her 2 sons, Uno Muhammad. "My sons, tomorrow is the day of the battle. Your uncle's life will be in danger. My dear, if anything happens to your uncle while you are still alive, I will be filled with shame. I will not be able to face your grandmother, Bibi Fatima, on the Day of Judgment. So please, my dear sons, don't let me down. Be the first to sacrifice your lives." The day of Shura came. Ali Akbar gave the Azan, and Imam Hussain led the Fajr prayers. The day was very hot. The battle had begun. The Imam's mere 72 thirsty and hungry men against the 20,000 of Yazid's men. Hur went to the battlefield and was martyred by Yazid's bees. One by one, the companions were killed and they would return. Since dawn, Bibi Zainab had been watching the bodies come into the tents one by one, and she called upon her sons. And she said, "What are you waiting for?" And they said that our uncle would not allow us to go to the battlefield. So she called upon her brother and said, "Oh brother, I have been like a mother to you, haven't I? Your mother is begging you to let Ula Muhammad to go to the battlefield. Zainab, my sister, jihad is not wajib upon children. How can I let my sister's sons be killed while I am alive? And she replied, if Ali Akbar dies before my children, how will I be able to face your mother on the day of judgment? My brother, I'll be filled with shame. Our Imam saw a disappointment on Bibi Zainab's face, and he saw her shed her eyes with tears. Our Imam put his arms around these two children and led them to the horses. Go and show these evil men that you have the blood of Jafar and Ali in your veins. The two children turned back and looked at their mothers. Fi aman Allah Hudafis, mother, and Bismillah, their mother replied. These two young men went to the battlefield and they fought very bravely. They sent many people away to hell. Umar Saad Yazid's commander got worried when he saw the unity of these two brothers and how these two were taking away his men. He ordered his men to separate them. Upon separating them, they were attacked with arrows, swords, spears, daggers from all sides and angles. How much can two kids, with so much little water and food in them, they had no water and they were thirsty for 3 days, take in this hot weather? Eventually a time came when they called for their uncle. Uncle, come and please help us. Imam Hussein and Abbas rushed to the battlefield, and these children were severely wounded. They were taking their last breaths. Uncle, give our salam to our mother. Please tell our mother that we did as she said, and we did not go towards the river for water. We fought for you, and we fought for Islam. We fought for the children of the future. Eventually, these two bodies had to be carried to the tents. And Ali Akbar he cried out that the two children had been killed. Bibi Zainab heard this and she ran out from her tent. But she did not cry. She laid them and did sajda towards them. And she said, Ya Allah, I thank you for accepting my sacrifice. Ya Allah, I am proud of my two sons for what they did for Islam. The bodies were laid on the ground. The ladies gathered and cried and did martyrdom. Bibi Zainab did not cry, and she did not do her martyrdom for her too. We are from God, and to God we will return.
Judson law, many pardon. محمد وآل محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. नारे तकबीर, अल्लाहु अकबर, नारे रिसालत, या रसूल अल्लाह, नारे हैदरी, या अली, हैदरी, या अली। वक्त की कमी की वजह से मैं अपना वक्त छोड़ रहा हूँ, जाफरी साहब का इंतज़ार कर रहा हूँ ताकि वो पढ़ लें। जब तक जाफरी साहब तशरीफ़ लाते हैं, चंद एक मौज़ूआत आपकी खिदमत में पेश करना चाह रहा हूँ। नंबर 1 तो ये कि अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह आज फ़ारसी की मजालिस जो है वो मेन हॉल में शुरू हो चुकी हैं। उसमें लेडीज़ से इल्तमास है कि वो अगर टॉयलेट से इस्तेमाल करना चाहती हैं तो उन्हें ये 4-5 दिन तकलीफ़ करनी पड़ेगी। वो बाहर से जो पैक डिसेबल टॉयलेट का दरवाज़ा है वो इस्तेमाल करें और ताकि डिस्टर्बेंस ना हो, और बच्चों को भी अगर कंट्रोल में रखें ताकि वो उनके दरवाज़े की तरफ ना जाएं और डिस्टर्बेंस पैदा ना हो। एक तो ये, दूसरा जैसे कि शुरू मुहर्रम में सबको आगाह किया गया था कि हमारी एक मजलिस जो है وہ اکٹھی ہوگی جس میں تمام